Welcome everyone to the May edition of our Exchange reseller meeting. I see some familiar faces in the chat, but for those of you that do not know me, I am Rajiv. I handle business development mostly on the vendor side of Exchange. I've been using the platform for about 10 years now, so I know the thing in and out. So if you're wondering where Ray is, he's actually traveling to the IMSTA London event, which is happening this Saturday, June 1st. So he should be joining the call remotely, but I'll be holding things down today at the Exchange headquarters, and we'll be seeing some presentations from Audiomodern MNTRA today. On the agenda, we'll be looking at some 2024 tracking numbers, some new Reseller Portal news, as well as improvements. We do have Jim on the call from our IT team who will be taking us through the new Reseller Portal, specifically focusing on a new feature, which I'm sure a lot of you will be pleased to see, which is the WooCommerce and Magento 2 plugin, which will allow product import into your website very quickly and easily with just a few clicks, without having to use the API or do much programming. So with that, let's just jump right in. First off, of course, we got to plug the IMSTA. Software is king, hardware is its queen. We believe that software is the lifeblood of music production. You can't make a record without software. Nowadays, whether you're a guitarist or a singer, at some point, you'll have to touch software. IMSTA is a non-profit organization that advocates for music software. IMSTA advocates against software piracy. We do this by education, the IMSTA trade shows that are held globally, masterclasses, one-on-one product demos. But at the end of the day, it's important for the attendees to see the companies face to face, to see that these are real people that put their blood, sweat, and tears into their software. So Exchange supports IMSTA, and you should as well. As I said, the London IMSTA event is taking place this Saturday, June 1st, followed by Tokyo, which will be held June 23rd. Then the New York event, which is being held September 28th. And lastly, Toronto, which will be October 19th. So if any of these shows are happening in your region, be sure to attend and register for that. So as I said before, we will have some presentations by Audiomodern, the makers of Chord Jam, Riffer, and Loop Mix. Our Canadian friends in Montreal there, MNTRA, they create virtual instruments and effects that are being used for film scoring and video game design. All right, so let's just get into some numbers quickly here. As of today, there are 8,288 products on Exchange, 318 vendors, 1,357 resellers in 80 countries. Now you can see below in front of you the numbers at the end of 2023 are actually higher, and this is due to the fact that we've purged some sub vendors. Some of the products were duplicates, some of the vendors were duplicates. So this is a more true to Exchange number. Even the resellers moving down from 1,576 to 1,357. These are inactive resellers. So just a little bit of a cleanup we did. Year to date, as of now, we're trending 10% for 2024 over 2023, with the last 12 months trending 11% above the previous 13 to 24 months. We've had in 2024 41 new resellers join, and we had a record April last month, which is a testament to the work that you as resellers are doing. So we remind you to respond to invitations that vendors are sending through the platform. Also, make sure to check your current and future promotions tab, so you'll be able to prepare for any future upcoming promotions. You'll be able to post them on your e-news, schedules, or social media in order to get these numbers up for the next quarter. Now, the new Reseller Portal is available for access for you to use. You'll be able to purchase products on it at the moment. You'll be able to browse by category. So whether you're looking for Dynamics processors or DAWs or a specific vendor, you'll be able to search and purchase products right now. You'll be able to find this when you log into Exchange. You'll see a little button there to switch your portal over. And we suggest that you contribute by offering your suggestions and offering your ideas and feedback. The portal only gets better when you guys ask for new features. Some of the best features in Exchange were actually recommended by the users. So, web assets. So, there is a centralized location in Exchange within your tools menu, which will allow you to access product details, so screenshots, descriptions, even more nitty-gritty details like, does the product use iLock? Does it lock to a dongle or the cloud? Is it a Mac or PC software? The API will allow you to pull these details directly into your website. And we also have a change API, which allows you to keep current and up to date whenever a change is made. So if, whether a bundle gets updated or a product gets discontinued, you'll be able to see these changes right away. Now, the new feature in the Reseller Portal should allow you to do just this using the WooCommerce and Magento 2 plugin very easily. And if Jim is on the call, we can get him to take us through a demonstration of how this works. Jim?
So hello everyone. I know that some of you are using our ready-made plugins for Magento and WooCommerce. This will mostly pertain to those of you who do. And just before getting started, I know that some of you are actually using an outdated version of our plugin, so I encourage everyone to look into your web portals on occasion, check if our plugins has been updated, because they will not be automatically updating from your admin panel, because these are not public plugins, so you won't be able to update through the update button in the settings. Instead, you'll have to download the version and then manually. So with that said, let's get started. So this is going to be an expansion of our current features. The plugin version is currently 2.1.0. Both Magento and WooCommerce will have these features shortly. Right now, I'm demonstrating Woo, but they're very similar. Okay, so first thing you'll notice in in all versions above 2.0 is that we no longer use passwords. We use token and API keys now. So if you do the upgrade, that means that in the future your web portal login access will be effectively separated from your API access. And going into 2.1, which is the features that we'll be demonstrating today, we will be automatically pulling in some web assets from Exchange itself into your store without having to deal with a lot of the coding involved. Okay, so right now you see on the left side, this is the admin settings panel for our plugin. A new field is added. That's the URL. You can leave this blank or as the default when you install it, and this should be correct. When you look on the bottom, there are two new fields: import images and generate CSV. So import images is going to allow you to specify a vendor to use, and then when you click import images, it'll actually pull all the web asset media files from that vendor's web assets into your WooCommerce media library. So to demonstrate, first we can look at, this is my reseller portal, that's the account. And if you look at web assets, I currently have some access already from a vendor. So these all have images and they have some specs. So when we go into here, and this is vendor 133. So type that in. And instructions for all of this is provided in the documentation as well. So if you don't remember anything, please feel free to. So this will take a moment. It'll generate, or it'll open a new tab, and then when it's successful, it'll be that 19 images have been imported, 19 images have been saved, and they've been saved to your web server's path here, which I'm currently running a local version of WordPress, but you can see that if you go into here, into uploads, product images, you'll see that these are all the images that have been imported. And these different size versions are provided by WooCommerce or by WordPress itself, so don't worry about that. Okay, now we can close this window, and then if we look into the media library, you'll see that these have been imported. Okay. Now, the next step is to use generate CSV button. This will actually generate a live CSV of all the products that you currently have access to and their most up-to-date information. So this will include both things like prices, product descriptions, names, as well as all the information that's presented in the web assets. And I'll show you what I mean by this in a moment. So you click on this, and then it'll ask you to download a CSV file. And then download that and open this. This is a CSV file. It can be edited with Excel, Word, or Notepad. In this case, I'm using LibreOffice. It should be opening. There. So you see that not only are there products of the vendor that we just imported from, but also there are other products. So this CSV generation is for all products that you have access to all at once. So for these, let's just delete them here because we won't be using them. These are test products. And then the remainder are the products that we're interested in importing. So first, you'll notice that these headers, they start with two things. They start with common underscore something, and then they start with over here asset underscore something. So that's the distinction between if you've ever used our API before, you'll know that we have a price list API that you can call from, and also a web assets API, and they're actually separate. So this distinction is referring to the price list API over here, that the information associated with that, and then the web assets API on the right side. So the one thing that we want to do is first change this to use this field called meta exchange internal SKU. This is something that's specific to our WooCommerce plugin because we have a custom product field called exchange internal SKU. And if you change this to that, WordPress will know to match everything in this field exactly with that custom field. So we'll save this. Okay, and now just to demonstrate that this is a very flexible tool that we can expand upon, I'm just going to add another column. Let's call this something else. Let's call this meta support. And here we can add, let's say, a email to this. So support at example. Okay. Let's use that for all of these. Okay. And let's save again. Okay, and that's enough editing. Let's close this. And now let's go into the imports. And just before we move on, generally you'll want to import the images before generating the CSV because the CSV generation process will actually scan your web server for the images that you've already imported, and it'll link them up with the CSV itself. So if you do the generate CSV part first, then the images will not be present in the reference in the CSV file. So let's start here. WooCommerce provides an interface that allows you to bulk import products by importing CSV, which is what we generated. Magento has something very similar, so it'll be more or less the same process. So we start an import, select CSV, and if you click here, you'll be able to update existing products using the CSV. in our case, we only have new products here, so let's leave that. And now that you'll see, there's all of our columns from the CSV. You don't have to match all of them. In fact, most of these will probably be irrelevant to your store, but for our purposes, let's put name as the product. Description, let's use short description. We'll use the map price as the regular price. And let's put long description as description. Media, this one we will need to use images for this. So this is the reference imported images that we did earlier. The CSV will call this the media column. And then finally, the custom column that we added called Exchange Product Support Link. So we'll leave that as import as metadata. And now we can move on, run the importer. So it'll take just a moment. There's 22 products in here, I believe, something along those lines. As a general suggestion, I would say that you should be doing these in smaller bulks rather than all at once, just to make sure that things are imported correctly the first time, because it is possible to make a mistake and then you have to delete like 400 products. It's quite a pain. Okay, so we're done with importing these products. Now let's take a look at what they look like. So here are all the products that you just imported. Let's look into one of these. And I believe WooCommerce will automatically publish them immediately after importing. So I don't know if that's a setting that you can change, but that'll probably be specific to your store. So you see that the long description is the web assets description. We have a short description here. We have pricing, which is the price that the vendor provided. And then here we have two custom fields. One is the internal SKU. This is what our plugin will use to fulfill the product once it's purchased by an end user. And then second, this is the support override link that we added as a column to that CSV file. So it shows up here. And finally, when we look at this from the storefront, and notice that the image is also here. This is what it will look like by importing. So that's more or less the entire process. As a note, we envision this tool to be more of a step in the entire workflow of importing or updating your products. We don't expect this to be a one-step process where you simply follow the steps and then you get all the products in your store, because every store is quite different. They're styled differently, and their formatting is quite different too. So we expect that there will be a need to manually edit the CSV file to suit your specific store's presentation. So this is, I guess, more of a useful tool than a final solution to the importing process. And I believe that is everything.
Okay.
Magento will have something similar to this. But yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to send us a ticket, or you can ask at the end of this meeting, I believe.
Thanks, Jim. If anybody thinks of any questions for Jim, just pop it into the chat and we can get to them at the end of the presentation. So with that being said, we can move on to Audiomodern. Katerina, if you're available. Hi, Katerina.
Hello, Rajiv. Hello, all. Thank you for inviting my Audiomodern here today. It's a very nice opportunity for Audiomodern today, as we are working to release our new software. So any resellers who might be interested in starting working with us may find some information useful, and which is can also be useful for resellers who already work with us. First of all, I would like to tell you a few things about what we do. We create software plugins which can be used for music composition and music creation. We have created a small ecosystem of apps that can work independently or in combination and suggest musical ideas for you. Each of our apps can be used for a completely different task. For example, one chord jam, a rap chord jam, can be used to generate chords or chord progressions for you. Another one can create grooves or riffs, and so on. So I will show you our site first. Here you can see it's LoopMix. Our LoopMix plugin is one of our best-selling and most popular products. You can load a set of loops, and it creates variations based on these loops. I won't dive so much into technical information. We have a Playbit, which creates grooves, chord jam, which I described previously. Reefer, which is the first plugin we created, which creates riffs. It has 4 piano rolls, and it creates riffs for you, of course, based on several algorithms that we have created. We have a Freezer, which is an audio effect plugin, a freeze audio effect plugin. GateLab, which is gate sequencer. It's a free product for now. FilterStep and Panflow, which are also free products. They're not available on Exchange. Okay, our plugins also, we have also released expansion packs for some of our plugins. These are small collections of presets. So far, we have released expansion packs for chords, LoopMix, and Playbit. You can find them here on our site. They cover different music genres, and they can be used easily. They can be imported very easily from any producer, from a beginner to a professional. I would also like to tell you to describe our projects that we are working on right now, which will be released later this year, but very soon. We are working to release a new version of our Reefer plugin. As I said, it is a MIDI sequencer. The new version will also use expansion packs. It will have several new algorithms, and it will, based on the algorithms that we create, it will improve the result. It will improve the results that it generates. It's also completely redesigned. The update will not be free, but we have not decided the price yet as an upgrade. We are also working to release a new version of Playbit, which also has new algorithms, several new features. It is completely redesigned too. But the most important part is that we are working to release a new instrument platform. It is a sampler engine, which will be released with a big collection of packs, sample libraries. It is a playable instrument. It includes 4 layers of sound which work independently, or you can combine them or mix and match any of them. The engine, everything is fully customizable, and no code is required for to create also your own packs. The price range per pack will be approximately from 29 to 69 USD, and it will have been released until October, I think, hopefully. It turned out to be a very big project, and also it's the first time we are disclosing this information publicly. Okay, what will make it different is that the content that will be released with a regular flow on a monthly basis. Now, I would like to tell you about our reseller policy. We provide 40% revenue share. our team communicates with you. I will be the main contact that communicates with the resellers regarding all of our upcoming promotion plans, strategies. For new resellers, we usually schedule a 2-week promotion with our catalog at 25% off. It is a slight discount to introduce our products to the new resellers audience. We offer also continuous communication regarding our plans. And of course, we provide 24/7 technical support for we can provide it to your customers for any technical issues or delivery issues, everything. Just a second. Here I would like to show you a few of our amazing partners and dealers. Of course, these are only a few that we are working on together. You can also get in touch with us at contact@audiomodern.com, or you can call me in this number, or just use the contact form on our site. We will be happy to discuss with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Katarina, for that very informative presentation. So as you guys heard, Audiomodern is providing some really good margin there for you guys, a 40% margin. So be sure to reach out to Katarina to get your 2-week intro promo. You'll be able to find them right on Exchange. Just type in Audiomodern, send them a request, and Katarina will have you sorted. So if anybody has any questions for Katarina, just pop them in the chat there. In the meantime, we can address these questions here regarding the plugin. So currently the app is not compatible with Shopify, but we're looking into it, and hopefully will be available in the future. We also have a question. Mind Mike is asking if it's possible to implement suggestions for categories in the assets. If you mean like product categories like DAWs, Dynamics, I don't see why not. Feel free to submit a ticket with your suggestions. We welcome suggestions for the platform, regardless of the assets or any other feature in Exchange. As I said, we take the suggestions pretty seriously, so be sure to send those in. Okay, we can move on to MNTRA. So we actually have three people from the team. We've got Carolina, Brian, and we have Noah from MNTRA. So Carolina, if you guys are ready, you guys can hop in and screen share, but we'd love to take a look at your products.
How's it going? How's everybody doing? Thank you so much for checking us out. We'll give you guys a brief background. Although we're a relatively new kid on the block, we've been around since 2007 as Last Unit Creative. As you can see, we've worked on some pretty big games, and that's kind of our lifeblood, but also part of our DNA. And we've from all these years of research and development, we've created all kinds of very unusual but interesting processes to create sound worlds for these big IPs. So the idea was to take all of this knowledge that we had built up and create MNTRA. So, and it started with Resident Evil, where we'd actually been already developing instruments. I'll just place a little video in the background, so there's some eye candy to watch while we're doing this. So we basically started with Resident Evil and Capcom. At this same time, we were developing our engine, and we have taken all kinds of different processes. One of the big ones is that we use extreme resolution audio. So basically, we record up to the ultrasonic range and then are able to create instruments out of pretty much anything. And pretty much the imagination is the limit, and we really push it in that sense. So one of the first instruments we did was take volcanic rocks that you rub and they resonate, and then suddenly they become these beautiful pads. And also now we've expanded to traveling all over the world, recording sounds, and we'll get into that a bit more. But basically, that's the idea. It's years and years of production, of very specific ways of working. And with each instrument, we really look at it as creating a sound world. So with pretty much any of the instruments that we're going to be showing you, somebody could buy it and they can make a full track or a whole album with it to a certain extent as well. So that's the kind of the strength of and approach that we've taken with this. Yeah, I'll just skip through a little bit because this is a long video. So go to the next. And here I'll just play a little bit of some presets. So with all of this, we also realize that how video game engines work, they will work non-linearly. Everything reacts as you're walking, everything acts in a different way. It's not just a linear way of working, whereas, you're going up, everything, 0 to 100, things move and shift accordingly. So we built Mandala, which is our flagship and sampling engine, to work in the same way as video game engines do. So there's a non-linearity to it. It's a very complex but easy to use instrument because there's at the end of the line, you've got 3 major controls, an X, Y, Z. And then from there, where you can go deep in and create all these beautiful, with the 6 samplers that we have, you can create whatever soundscape you want and control it non-linearly. I'll just play some of these presets quickly just to give an idea. So here's Arca, for example. Everything from synths. We've got quite a bit of variety, actually. We've got up to 16 instruments now, and we're pretty much releasing an instrument almost every month or month and a half. The production team has scaled up quite a bit. And yeah, for example, these are the volcanic rocks I was talking about. You wouldn't think, but it's just rubbed rocks. So the idea is, we're not trying to compete with all the other sampled instruments out there. We're really just trying to give options that are just going to give a different kind of sound for people that are looking for something that original. And I think this gives a good idea. Skip to the next one. And like I mentioned, we have 16 instruments on the catalog. We also do offer some free instruments so people can download and try. Everything is controlled from our central server. Once you've got a serial number, they can easily put it in the back end of the engine, and they can load up whatever instruments directly from our CDN and servers. Also, we do have 24/7 support. We have a team in Colombia also and in India, and we're very proactive about keeping up with any support calls as well. So if with all your clients, they're well taken care of. And just quickly here, we're going to shift quickly to the next plugin that's going to be coming out in probably late June or early July. I'll let Noah jump in on this one.
Hello, everyone. So I'm a product designer at MNTRA, and yeah, this is the new plugin we've been working on for the last few months. We're calling it Borealis, and it's a dynamic reactive reverb. But it's a little bit more than a reverb, you'll see that. But really the dream that started all this is to have a reverb that grows and morphs depending on what you're playing. So you're singing louder and the room's getting louder to encompass you. So we spent a long time thinking about this and how to design the effects to accommodate this. And we've created this kind of effects platform where you can load all these different reverb algorithms and have these macro controls that can be modulated by LFOs or by axis, but primarily the envelope follower is really where it comes into stride. We have this really detailed envelope follower with a threshold and attack and release, everything you'd expect, where you can non-linearly control any of those parameters to have pretty much anything in the engine reacting to what you're playing, what you're doing. And then just for a cherry on top, we added kind of a mastering section to the plugin with a really high quality EQ and a mastering grade limiter. So you can kind of get like a full performance sound out of this for a live set. But I think it's equally good in the studio and in a live setting. So we're really excited to get this one out. Yeah.
Thank you, Noah. And we'll shift quickly to also a preview of our next big plugin that we're hoping to release this summer, if all goes as planned. I'll just play it in the background, some images, and maybe Noah, you jump in. Actually, I'll precede it. So the idea, we've been working with spatial sound and spatial installations for quite a few years. So we realized that there's a big hole in the market in terms of spatial sound with Atmos. Everybody's jumping on Atmos nowadays. So yeah, there's not really a lot in terms of IR-based reverbs that work spatially really well. It's very limited. So we decided to create pretty much the most powerful reverb ever. It's based on fifth order ambisonics, basically it's 32 channels of a globe that you can render from, and we're some proprietary ways of sampling spaces so that we're able to capture all of these details, not only on a spatial sense, but also on an ultrasonic level. So you'll be able to bend and stretch it. And the idea is that this instrument is not just a reverb, it's actually a spatial instrument. You will be able to play with the sound. And yeah, no, I don't know if you want to add to this.
I'll just tack on by saying I think something that inspired us to start this project is a lot of spatial mixing tools, spatial reverbs get very technical, and it's really aimed at people who are already deep in that world. And we wanted to create something for musicians to play with. So I think we've really efforted to make it a performable kind of engine. We put a lot of work into creating a visual UI that feels fun to play with and is intuitive to play with. So I think that will make it really set apart from any of the other tools in the market, where it feels like an extension of performing and making music.
And just to mention, I don't know if we mentioned, but it's running on GPUs actually. So this is going to be one of the first reverbs to run on a GPU. So we can run literally, we've tested it out, and we're running hundreds of convolutions simultaneously at the same time with barely no delay through the actual reverb. So this could be used for live performances, live installations, but also for mixing. And there'll be a lot of choices once we do release it, because we've got quite a big library, and it will continue to grow as we keep releasing new features and updates. And also another thing that's just to kind of, I have mentioned before, but we do also the world. We've got a portal series that we've started. It's going to continue where this one here is just background footage of when we went to India. We've also gone to Colombia and also Vietnam. So we have those instruments up on the shop, and you can also distribute these. And also with the reverbs that we're doing, we'll be capturing reverbs and spaces from all over the world in all kinds of different scenarios as well. So really just trying to kind of, worldize some of these applications and give the choices to users for this. And just quickly, I'll give you also a quick preview of the instrument that we just released, actually.
Hi, I'm Laura. I want to show you MNTRA's latest instrument, Vespera. We ran a vacuum tube-powered modular synth through acoustic resonators to create sounds that you've never heard before. And to empower your creativity, we created presets to get you started. Each one an entire world to explore. But don't take my word for it. Discover your new spark with Vespera.
Yeah, so that's also the beginning of a new series where we're resynthesizing all kinds of different sounds and sources using physical matter, and it will be a whole different versions and coming up pretty much almost every couple months. This instrument has actually been interesting because it's brought up a lot of debate, and people are very heated about it. Some people have been like, this is not a analog modular synth, and some people love it because they realize that it's very different. And yeah, we enjoy that. We're just not trying to sell another software synth. It's just trying to be experimental with it. And I think that's what a lot of people are very open to these days, and they're hungry for this kind of content and tool sets. And yeah, we have a summer sale coming up on June 13th. For those of you that are with us, we'll be sending you some promo material. And if you like to carry our products, we'd be very happy to chat with you. And yeah, we'll be offering this big sale coming up. So it's a great opportunity to jump on board with us. And that's it for us. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Brian. Thank you, Noah. New product, Vespera, looks dope. But as you heard, you have till June 13th to connect to MNTRA, get the products uploaded as soon as you can, so you can jump on that up to 60% off promo, which should be good. So just circling back to this product category question. So I believe what you're asking is, in the web assets page, if we can add a categories field to distinguish different product categories or product classes for that particular product. I believe that's what you're asking, is to actually have a categories field there, which just lists the possible categories. So as I said, yeah, we'll be open to these suggestions. So just submit that in a ticket, and that would be actually a pretty good suggestion. Brian, Peter is asking if you could tell us more about this immersive reverb and your collaboration with GPU.
Sure, yeah. So it's been a couple of years in the works, and we already had the idea of the reverb. We were actually also creating a few prototypes with instruments, but it just was not possible. So yeah, with our test, we started chatting, and we realized that we could run, all these hundreds of convolutions at the same time. We are going to be showcasing some stuff pretty soon, but as a immersive producer myself, I'm extremely picky, and with our test, it's the first time that I'm able to close my eyes and in an Atmos room or a spatial room, put a source in there, and it really feels like you're there. It's nothing fake. You're, all of the sort of reflections that you get in a room when you're actually there, we've managed to be able to capture it, and that's because we're using a combination of a 64-channel 6th order ambisonic microphone that just came out, as well as our own custom array, which is capturing ultrasonically. So the combination of it together gives us kind of different dimensions of sounds that I think a lot of people will really dig. And it runs on, because it's on GPUs, it's extremely efficient. I mean, if somebody has a decent system with an NVIDIA or even the new Mac M1s, M2s, or M4s, when they come out, they're not even going to notice any kind of processor actual load on them. So we're very excited about this product. And yeah, we'll definitely share some more as soon as we're done with it.
I'll just drop a link in the chat too. We have a page with just some preliminary info about the product if anyone's interested in checking that out too.
And it's actually going to be, we don't want to show too much yet, but it's not just a plugin. There's going to be also a 3D interface where you're going to be, people will be able to just actually, use it in a different way, just in a more intuitive way, I would say, rather than just, turning knobs. We're really trying to steer away from using just normal parameters and go towards more of a, like a 3D kind of interactive way of working. So all our products going forward are going towards that. And Living Sky will be the first to set using this kind of interfacing.
All right. Thank you, Brian. Thanks, everybody, for attending. And we will see you guys next month.